Hey, what's up everybody? It's Kyle from Growing Up Garden. So it's been a while since I put up any videos on YouTube, and I thought I would give you guys an update on how the garden is doing and how the last year was and what the future is for my garden. So first thing I'm going to do is just kind of give you guys a quick little tour of the garden and show you what's going on here. And it's not looking like it normally would. So let's get that tour going. So this is what is left of the garden, and I will no longer be planting in this garden because it's all coming out. I'm going to be taking the trellises down, all the plants are going to be coming out, and we're going to be getting this ready for renters because we're going to be renting our house very soon, hopefully. We're planning on moving, and we actually have an offer in on a house right now. So there's really no reason for me to start planting this thing like I normally would with, plants growing everywhere on the house and, all over the ground. So I've got myself a lot of work to do. The garden is kind of a mess right now as well because I've been super busy this year. I feel bad I haven't been able to put out any videos. Man, it's been probably good maybe 5 or 6 months since I put up a video. I do have tons of videos to put out that I made last year, and I just never got to it. It was just too busy. Last year I took Jeff Lawton's online permaculture course, and I had no idea it was going to take me a whole year to finish that course. It took me more than a year. It took me 1 year to get through all of his videos, and I would basically work all day, at my job or my business. I own my own business, handyman service, and come home, play with the kids, and then watch a few lectures on the computer. And that took 1 year. And then it took me another few months to get the final design exam done. So finally got it done like 2 weeks ago. And I've had a little extra time to get some things done here at the house, but I've actually been getting the house ready for rent. So I've been doing some work in the backyard, pouring concrete and clearing things out. But the garden, it definitely got neglected this last winter. I think when was it? In September, I planted some kale and some cauliflower plants. I did plant some purple cabbage as well, but the cabbage didn't really turn out that good. And I got a lot of aphid damage on the cabbage. So we basically just kind of focused on the kale. The kale was actually really good. Not too much aphid, not too many aphids on the kale. There are a few. So we've been using this kale a lot in our meals. My wife likes to chop it up and throw it in soups and chilies. Very delicious, very healthy. So we've got the Romanesco cauliflower and a couple other varieties of cauliflower. And we used a bunch of them, but these here, they kind of got infested with aphids inside, and there was just so many in there. It wasn't very appetizing. So I let it go to flower, and now the bees are enjoying the plants. So at least it's good for pollinators, even if you don't eat the cauliflower. It's good for attracting bees. I've got an avocado tree that came up last year as a volunteer, and I thought I'd just let it, might as well just let it grow. I'll leave it here, and we'll see what happens to that tree. And if it doesn't give good avocados, because that was a Haas avocado pit that was thrown in the ground there, we can always graft something else on it. So it'd be cool to see what happens. This is my Paulownia tree, it's a Paulownia tree, or Empress tree. And it's supposed to be the fastest growing tree in the world, is what they say. They say it grows 12 feet in 1 year if you plant it in the ground. I have it planted in a bucket, so we don't have that kind of growth. But the tree produces these really beautiful flowers, and they smell really good too. And they're supposed to be good for attracting pollinators. The honey you get off of these from the bees is supposed to be amazing. And the leaves can be used as animal fodder to feed animals. You can feed livestock with it. And the wood is supposed to be an amazing wood for making furniture and instruments. So within, I think 3 to 5 years, you can harvest a tree that's 35 feet tall. You can cut it down, harvest the wood, and that tree will grow back within, I think, a couple years. It's an amazing tree. So hopefully in the future, I get to plant this guy in the ground and see how that goes. Here's my tomato area. I got tons and tons of volunteers. Now, I was telling my wife it would be cool to not plant a garden, not plant any new plants, and just let volunteers come up and see what happens. And I bet you I would have tons of food if I just let all the volunteers come up. I'd still have food. Because there's all kinds of, tomatoes that fell on the ground and bean seeds and all kinds of stuff. So here's what's left of my pepper bed and my tomato tower cages. I've got nothing growing in there. I normally would have my early girl tomatoes in there. And yeah, these weeds, they literally shot up like within a couple, there were some weeds here, but they grew so fast in the last couple of weeks, seems like they grew like 2 feet. So those need to be pulled out. I need to actually start working on that. This area is where I grew my kagutsa gourds. I had the big archway that went over the walkway, and I had all the gourds hanging from. I'll flash a little picture of that on the screen for you. So that all came down. I took that down last year. The arch came down. A month ago, I took this trellis down and cleaned this area up just to start getting ready to move. It's going to be a lot of work. Took 6 years to finally get the garden the way I like it, and then I got to take it out. So this is my other pepper bed, and during the winter I like to compost in this area. So I wasn't using the raised bed, and it was actually about 6 inches lower. The soil kind of sunk down. So what I do is I make my compost heaps here, and I've got a really cool method to make for making compost, and it seems to work really well, and it produces some nice stuff. So all of this material came from the property. This is all the plants from the garden, stuff from the lawn, weeds. It was all chopped up I have a wood chipper shredder. I just run it all through there. Food scraps from the house, that goes through the chipper shredder. I put, we get 1 to 2 5-gallon buckets of food scraps every 2 days. So we have a lot of stuff that gets reused and put to good use in the garden. So I won't be putting any of this in the garden beds. This is actually going to probably go in my tree boxes. In the backyard, I've got an apple tree and a fig tree. I'll go back there and show you guys how those are doing. But yeah, this all has to be cleaned up. I'm not sure if we're going to leave this or take it out. We'll see what happens. Take it day by day. So this is my little herb bed. We've got some sage growing. The sage is actually growing really well. The parsley is pretty much cashed out here. Got a tiny bit of parsley left. Looks like it's starting to go to seed. I've got my grapes. I'm probably going to be pulling that out as well. We can't have grapevines growing everywhere when you got renters. Okay, so one final thing over here. We've got the Joraform composter. We've actually stopped using this. I've just been making compost in heaps and burying it out in the yard because we just get too many bugs and soldier flies in this thing, and I don't have time to deal with it. And if the ratio gets off, if you get too much nitrogen material, it just gets nasty. And so it's been sitting for a while, not in use. And look at that, we've got some beans, bean plant growing out of it, which is kind of cool. And I just noticed this today. I've got a tomato plant growing out of the side, look at that, of the Joriform. So that's kind of neat. And I'm gonna let that grow, and I'm gonna see what happens. We'll just bring this to the whatever new house we get, and I'll keep you guys up to date. Maybe that'll be all covered in plants. Who knows? That'll be neat to see. So I'll take you guys on the side yard, and I'll show you what's going on over there and in the backyard real quick. So let's do it. All right, so we're on my side yard where I grow my main sugarcane plant and cabbage. I've got some cabbage in here and one artichoke plant. We are gonna get probably a few artichokes. There's actually one choke coming up right now. This plant hasn't been the most vigorous plant that I've grown, but it is it's starting to look pretty good now. It's that time of year, spring, so everything's starting to perk up. So yeah, the sugarcane, I actually just cleared this out a couple weeks ago. It was just totally overgrown with cane poles and dead leaves. So I cleared it out. Now it actually looks kind of nice. It's a cool looking plant. But the kids absolutely love eating sugarcane. It's like their favorite snack or dessert, and it's very delicious. And it's also nutritious. So don't feed your kids candy from the store. Get them plant some sugarcane if you're able to grow it in your area. So yeah, we're in California, pretty close to Sacramento, and it grows great. So let's go in the backyard and all right, so we're on the side yard of my house, and I've got my fig tree growing back here in this raised box that I built. There's no figs on it yet, but the tree is looking pretty healthy, so hopefully we get some really good figs off it this year. Now underneath the fig tree, I've got some potatoes growing. Check it out. I know a lot of you guys out there have been watching my potato tower videos, and these are some of the Kennebec potatoes that I had in the video that were just they were actually volunteers from ones I planted in the ground, and I guess I didn't get them all out, and I had some potatoes in the ground, so I threw them in here, and now they're growing in here. So check it out. So hopefully I get a crop of potatoes and figs out of one container. It's a nice little fig tree. Yeah. Okay, so we'll go back here. Yeah, we've been busy and poured some cement yesterday. Here's another fig tree. It's looking really good, actually. Nice little fig. There's some of that compost that I was showing you guys in the front. And then here is our apple tree, which is full of apples. I just thinned this thing out yesterday. Let's take that one off. I probably could thin it more, but we'll see what happens. It's been a nice little apple tree. It's produced a ton of apples for us. It's actually been giving us 2 apple crops per year, which is kind of weird. Maybe the tree's under a lot of stress, who knows? Probably is under stress because it's in this container, but some more of that compost material that we made. So that's pretty much what's left of the garden and trees. We'll be taking these to our new house. So hopefully this container, it's been sitting here a while. Man, it's been, how many years has it been? 6 or 7 years this container has been sitting here. So hopefully it doesn't fall apart because it's made out of it's all made out of wood. It's not made out of steel. The fig box that I have is made out of steel, and I know that's not going to fall apart because I've already moved it once. All right, so me and my son Blake today, we planted some Edgevarsky peppers and some mountain honey cantaloupes. Now, I wasn't going to do any seed starts because I just don't really have time for that. But my son was like, Dad, can you please plant my favorite pepper plants because I want to eat them like every day and I want you to put them in my lunch. So I'm like, all right, we'll plant some peppers. And if we move, we'll just plant them at the new property. So we planted this one with Javarsky peppers, and we planted this side with mountain honey cantaloupes. So hopefully we get some cantaloupes and peppers this year. And if we move soon, I'll be able to plant some tomatoes at the new property, maybe even some zucchinis, because the house that we're looking at buying, it actually does have a small raised bed next to an orange tree, which could use a little bit of rearranging. But that's going to be a lot of work too, because that whole house needs to be remodeled inside. So I think I'm going to be a busy man this year. I got to fix up this house that we're living at now, and I also have to fix up the house that we moved to. Oh yeah, so another reason I decided to start these is because I think they're going to grow real fast, because one of my customers hooked me up with this. He gave me this grow light. He probably had about 20 of these things in his, he's got a big giant steel building. I guess he had a renter that was growing some marijuana plants in there, and he actually is moving out of there, so he had to get rid of these. So he's like, "Oh, do you want one?" So he gave me one. It's got this giant halogen bulb in there, and man, this thing puts off a ton of light. So he gave me this grow lamp. It's got this 6-inch ventilation ducting if you need to vent out the heat, because this thing puts off a ton of heat. And he gave me this ballast as well. So it's got this big old ballast that comes with it, and you can change the brightness by hitting this button. So I'm going to use this grow lamp to start these seeds, and these plants should grow extremely fast with this grow lamp over them. Because in past years, I would usually use this small grow lamp. And where is it? This guy. Sorry, my garage is a mess. It's like everything else. There's my small grow lamp right there from Home Depot. I think it's I don't know if it's a burpee grow lamp. Let's see. See if we can get it down. Let's see. Sorry. Okay. Oh, it's a Ferry Morris grow lamp. It does work pretty good. The only thing with this is it's not powerful enough to get these plants, get all of the plants growing. So basically, the plants in the center will, they'll grow a lot faster than the plants on the outside, because the ones on the outside aren't getting as much sunlight. So it'll be fun to see how this works. I'm actually going to make another video about this after I post this video. So stay tuned and watch that. And I think I'm going to end it there. So wish me luck. And I want to thank all you guys that are stuck at home watching my videos. It's really given me a huge boost on views for my channel, so I really appreciate that. And I want to thank all you guys for watching. And don't forget to subscribe. And we'll see you guys next time.